All right, everyone. My name is Kristy with the TC Fit team. Today, we're slowing it down with a little bit of yoga. So all you need is a mat. If you want to grab some water, go ahead and grab that too. First few minutes here of class, just kind of transitioning from whatever you were doing before in your day to our 25-minute yoga practice now. I personally am going to start in corpse pose. Feel free to start in any other pose that feels good for you and your body. We will be on the mats and on the floor the entire class, so take that for what it is. Regardless of the starting pose that you chose, feel free to close your eyes if you feel comfortable doing that. Really settling yourself into right here, right now, relaxing through your body. Starting in your head, softening through your forehead. Again, closing your eyes gently. Unclenching through your jaw. Your mouth might be slightly parted open. It's perfect. Relaxing through the shoulders. We hold a lot of tension in our shoulders. Just let them relax. All the way through your arms, through your elbow, through your fingertips. Hands can be placed wherever is comfortable for you. Coming into your chest, upper back, lower back, and abdomen. Paying attention to where your breathing is going into. We want the belly to be rising up versus the chest. So really focus on drawing your breath into your belly, letting your belly rise up. The opposite happens on the exhale, belly falls down. Awesome. Coming in through your hips, through your pelvis. Everything's relaxed, really heavy. Through your legs, through your knees. All the way down through your ankles, through your feet. Your feet are probably falling out to either side of your mat, and that's perfect. Complete relaxation all the way head to toe. Take a moment to feel how you're feeling. Notice how you're feeling, and take that feeling with you for the rest of class especially. Complete relaxation. Bringing our focus now into our breath once more. So breathing in through the nose, big inhale, let the belly rise up. Open mouth exhale. Let it all out, as much breath as you can release. Good, take two more like that. Deep inhale, inhale. And open mouth. Good, one more just like that. And exhale. Great work, good. Bring your knees up to your chest gently. Take your time. Hands can be wrapped around your shins. A little bit of support here. Feel free to rock side to side. Make any movements that feels good for you. Maybe you choose to stay static, and that's great. I always like a little self-massage, rocking side to side. Releasing through the low back just slightly, good. And we're gonna keep our right knee up towards our chest, and we're gonna extend the left leg long to the mat. So just let that left leg fall back down to the mat. Right leg stays up, big hip stretch. Use your hands for some support. And draw that knee up towards your shoulder, towards your chest. Now, if you're feeling this in your low back at all, feel free to bend through the left knee and plant the left foot on the floor. That'll hopefully relieve some of that low back pressure. Do a few ankle rolls with this right foot, both directions, just moving through the ankle. Great, we're gonna keep our right hand on our right shin and let the right knee fall out to the right side. So inner thigh stretch, opening through the hips. And your right hand is there for some support. Now that left hip, your left glute kind of wants to come up off the floor, right? Keep your left hip planted, left glute's planted. Right leg is heavy out to the side. And we're gonna make a little windshield wiper motion with your right knee. So go ahead and use your right hand, draw that right knee back towards the midline, maybe even over towards the left side, like on top of the left hip. And then draw that right knee back out to the right side. So just a big windshield wiper motion with your right leg. Knees staying bent all the way to the left and to the right. And feel free to explore this space too. Maybe you draw your knee a little lower, maybe you draw it a little higher. Maybe you make circles with that knee as you draw it out and in. Just kind of explore that space. Our hips need some love, that's for sure. Great job. Go ahead and bring your left knee back up to your chest. So we're kind of kneading that right knee back up. Just in the position we started in. Feel free to rock or roll anything that feels good before we hit the other side. So when you're ready, extend through the right leg. Right leg goes long on the mat, left leg stays up. Again, gentle pressure on your shin with both of your hands. Drawing your knee closer to your shoulder, closer to your chest. Ankle circles on this left side if you'd like that. Both directions if you choose to do so. Releasing the right hand and control with the left hand out to the left side with the leg. Let that left leg just drop out, inner thigh stretch. You might feel a little different from side to side, so from left to the right. It's totally normal, it's okay. Good, we're gonna explore that area with the windshield wiper, so feel free to use your left hand to kind of guide the left knee back up, maybe across the body slightly and back out to the side, to the left. Again, circles if that feels good. Knee higher, knee lower, whatever. Awesome job, y'all. I'm gonna take a moment here. We're gonna flip over 180 degrees, so we're gonna come into tabletop position. However you get there is fine with me. Please take your time. There's zero rush. It felt good to have your eyes closed for that long. It's like, can we just have a nap time? Okay, so from your tabletop position, tops of the feet are planted kind of into the ground, into your mat. Knees and your hips are stacked, as well as the wrists and the shoulders. Let's take a few cat-cows. Those always feel good. So on a deep inhale through the nose, lift up your head, drop your belly down, roll your shoulders down and back. And on the exhale, the exact opposite, rounding out through the shoulders, through the back, tucking your chin to your chest, tucking your tailbone. Good. Your breath will guide your pace for this. So just breathe with your normal breath. Inhaling for the cow, exhaling for the cat. Inhale, lift. Remembering, inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. Really exaggerating through your hips, through your shoulders. Good. Take 2 more breaths, always ending on that exhale. Back in tabletop whenever you finish with that exhale. We're going to extend the right leg back, so keep your hands planted. Extend the right foot back, and we're going to lift the right leg up and over the left. So if you're using a yoga mat, your right foot is kind of on the back left corner of your mat. And from here, we're going to elongate through our spine, just like we always do. On the exhale, I want you to make a C shape with your spine and look back towards your right toes. So this is a big side body stretch through the hip, through the torso. And in this pose, there's a lot of experimentation that can happen, right? So if you drop that right hip a little further, or if you keep your hips square, you're gonna feel it differently. So feel free to just kind of adjust, move around, find a spot that feels good for you. I like to hold both hips level and hips down. Great work. We're going to return our spine back to neutral. Bring that right leg back right under the right hip. So just lift it back up and over to the left. We're going to lift the left hand, or left arm really, and the right leg. So into the bird dog position. In this position, our core is drawn in, so we're not arching back through the back. You don't have to lift that leg very high, so keep your core drawn in. Thumb is facing up. You're gonna start to feel your left glute fire up to stabilizing your right arm as well. From this position, we're going to sweep the left hand to the left side and the right leg to the right side. So keep them elevated and sweep them out to the side. Hold here just a couple seconds. Use your core, bring it back to center. And float it out once more. Hold. Back to center. One more, out. Oh, back to center. Good, you can replace the left hand and the right knee down. Shake or roll anything that you need out, especially your right wrist if you need to. You're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. So when you're ready, extend the left leg long, lift it up and over the right foot to the right back corner of your mat. Lengthening through your spine. Take a deep inhale. On the exhale, make that C shape and stretch. Look back towards your left toe. Big hip stretch. Again, experimenting or moving around in this position. The beauty of yoga is everyone looks different. On your inhales, you might even feel that stretch kind of deepen. Deep inhales. It's almost like your lungs expand and your stretch is like, ugh. Good. We're going to return our spine back to the neutral position. Bring that left leg back right under the hip, so just lift it up and over the right leg. And then we're going to lift that left leg and the right arm up. Same bird dog position. Core is drawn in. You're active through your core. Holding this position for a few seconds before we add the sweep. And let's go ahead and add the sweep. So right arm to the right side, left leg to the left side. Hold, hold, hold. Keep them elevated. Use your core. Good. Back to center. And sweep. And back to center. Great work. One more time. Sweep. And back to center. Good. Replace the right hand and the left knee down. Let's go into child's pose just as relax your upper body. So you can widen out your knee stance. Big toes come together. And then set your hips back on your heels. Hands can stay lengthened up overhead, so your elbows are near your ears. Otherwise, feel free to bring your hands kind of back towards your feet. Palms will be up if you do this position, forehead's resting on the mat. This is always a good resting position. Releasing through the low back just slightly. If your forehead doesn't reach the mat, that's totally fine. You can always stack one fist, place your forehead on your fist, or even two fists. Just want to release through your upper body. A nice grounding position, feeling your breath come into your belly. Your belly kind of presses against your legs. It's a good grounding position. Good work. On your next inhale, go ahead and look up towards your hands. We're going to shift back up into tabletop. We're going to go through one of my favorite little sequences here. So in tabletop position, usually our wrists and our shoulders are stacked, right? I want you to take a pace forward. So just 1 and 1. Walk those hands forward, just about a hand's length or so. And from here, to take a deep inhale, on the exhale, we're going to come into up dog. So on the exhale, let the hips sink down. You're strong through your upper body. Big release through the core. Low back might be feeling this, and that's okay. In a moment, we're going to add the flow, but for now, we're just going to hold. So this one's easy to kind of sink into your shoulders, right? I want you to be strong through your shoulders and kind of pressing that ground away from you. Yep. Good. Take an inhale and exhale. On the inhale, we're going to come back into tabletop. And on the exhale, we're going to go back into child's pose. So just sink the hips back on the exhale. Inhale here. Exhale. On the inhale, shifting back into tabletop. Inhale. Exhale, sink the hips down. One breath here. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, shift the hips up to tabletop. On the exhale, shift them back. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale to tabletop. Exhale, let the hips sink down. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, tabletop. Exhale. Child's pose. Good. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, shift. Exhale, release. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Inhale, tabletop. Our final release back into child's pose for just a moment or so. Relax here. Awesome job, you guys. Take a deep inhale and let the belly fall against the thighs towards the floor. Exhale, release everything out. Good. Inhale, come back into tabletop. We're going to come into our first down dog position here. So tuck those toes under. On your inhale, lift the hips up strong through your core. Lift, 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 lift. Good. Now this is our first down dog of the class. Your hamstrings are probably screaming at you, and that's okay. Feel free to pedal through the feet. Make any motions or movements that feel good for you in your body. Once you got those little wiggles and the movements out, find some sort of stillness, whatever that looks like for you. Some of us may have a really deep bend through our knees, and that's okay. Hamstrings and hips are tight. Some of you might be regular yoga practicers, and you look great, and that's good. All of us are focusing on driving those heels towards the floor and driving the hips up towards the ceiling. So opposite directions of the heels and the hips. You're strong through your upper body. Again, it's kind of easy to sink into those shoulders, but I want you to press away. Chest is reaching towards the top sides of the thighs. It's a lot to think about in this pose. Great work. On your next inhale, we're going to lift the right leg up into three-legged down dog. So lift that right leg up. On the exhale, we're going to drive into pigeon pose. So exhale, drive the right knee behind the right wrist, and the right ankle comes behind the left wrist, right, into this pigeon pose. Now our left toes were just tucked under in down dog, so feel free to untuck the toes and have the top of the foot kind of on the mat. And from here, option to stay on the hands. Otherwise, if you have the flexibility, you can go onto your forearms. Yep. Some people's heads can even rest on the mat, or maybe your head is resting on your hands. Good. Awesome job, y'all. If you are not on your hands, go ahead and slowly make your way to your hands. So I'll meet back in this position we started in. Once you're here, tuck those left toes back under. We're going to come into plank position. So lift the left knee up and shoot that right leg back. Plank position. We're not here for long, I promise. Tuck those hips up and under. Again, the shoulders and the wrists are stacked. It's a common theme. Just a little longer. Let's hold 5, 4, 3. Take an inhale. Exhale. Inhale, shoot the hips back up into down dog. Great work. Any motions or movements that feel good. If you need to rest your arms, that's okay. You can go into child's pose or any other resting position you'd like to before we go back into our pigeon pose. grounding pose. It's a hard one, but it's a good grounder. If you are not in down dog, go ahead and meet me in down dog. Take a deep inhale for me when you're here, and exhale. Inhale, shoot that left leg up into three-legged down dog. On the exhale, driving that knee forward back into pigeon pose. So left knee behind the left wrist, left ankle behind the right wrist. Make any adjustments you need to, and again, feel free to float down onto your forearms if you have that available to you. Resting in this pigeon pose. Again, those right toes were just tucked in down dog, so feel free to untuck the right toes and let the top of the foot come onto your mat. Always an intense stretch. Breathing through this one. Oh, good work. All right, meet me back onto your hands if you are not there already. This time we're just gonna fall onto this left hip. So just kind of walk your hands out, fall onto the left hip. We're gonna sweep this right leg forward. So you're coming into a staff position per se. So from the staff position, some people might feel that hamstring stretch. I always do, my hamstrings are very tight. But from here, we're gonna elongate through the spine, so roll your shoulders down and back. Crown of the head is lifting up towards the sky, right? I want us to take 2 deep inhales. You can reach your arms up if that feels good. Exhaling to release the arms if you're using the arms. Good, inhale into the belly. Exhaling to release, we're gonna take 1 more inhale. On the exhale, forward folding over those legs. So big hamstring stretch. I'm not worried about your tall, long spine in this position. Just collapse over your legs. So round out through the back. Draw your knees toward, or your nose towards your knees. This is an intense one. I need to work on my hamstrings. I had somebody in class one time and he was like, "My hamstrings are always loose," said no one ever. And I was like, yeah, that's totally true. No one's hamstrings are ever loose. Whew. Good, take a deep inhale. On the exhale, try to get a little bit further. On the inhale, roll your spine back up into that seated staff position. Take your time. Good, roll those shoulders back, down and back. We're gonna use our core and slowly lower inch by inch onto the floor, okay? So use your core. Your whole hip to head stays along board. Slow, 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 all the way down. Go ahead. It gets really hard. Good, all the way down to the mat. Coming into our final resting position here. If there was a pose or a sequence that we did not get to today, go ahead, now is your time to do that. We just have a couple minutes left of class. So closing your eyes once more, we're gonna try to channel that calmness, that stillness, the heaviness that we had in the first few minutes of class. I want you to take a moment now to thank your body, thank your mind. If you'd like to stay in this position for any amount of time, now is the time to do that. Otherwise, I'm going to have us slowly roll over onto one side. So if you have time after 25 minutes, go ahead. Otherwise, we're going to wrap this up here. Rolling onto one side, please take your time. Using your top hand to kind of press into the ground, we're going to lift ourselves back up into a seated position. However you'd like to sit is fine with me. I'm gonna sit crisscross applesauce. Gonna find our tall, long spine once more in class. We're gonna take 3 final breaths together and you will be on your way. So roll the shoulders down and back, lifting through the top side of your head. Good. Inhale, reach up if that feels good for you in your arms. On the exhale, release. Inhaling again, thank your body, thank your mind. You did so great. Exhaling to release. Last deep inhale, reach up, look up if that feels good. On the exhale, option to bring your hands to heart center. Namaste, y'all. Thank you for joining me for today's yoga class. Always feels good to stretch. Lower the intensity a little bit, you guys. Thank you for joining. And now we go back to corpse pose. Nap time. That is the last class of the week for this week. Next week, classes are as normal, Monday through Thursday. 11 a.m. every day, you guys. Thanks for joining virtually and tonight too in studio. Thank you.